Ladies and gentlemen, today we would like to talk about absurdism, absurd philosophy. I'll be talking about existentialism, absurdism, and talking about nihilism. So, if we talk about absurdism, you might have studied about Samuel Beckett. Samuel Beckett, and he has written one of play, absurd play, theater of absurd. If we study absurd play, waiting for Godot. So in waiting for the Godot, there are two people. They are talking to each other, and they find this word meaningless. Sometimes they involve in fighting. Sometimes they want to commit suicide. Sometimes they are going to commit suicide. And once they intended to commit suicide, they talk to each other. They talk that once they commit suicide, you will alone. One decide that he commits suicide, others say, but once I commit suicide, you will remain alone. What will be the meaning of life? Same thing we find in absurd philosophy. So let's discuss about absurdism. In absurdism, we see that it is between two limits. Talk about existentialism, where you find your own existence, you find your meaning. So I want to give you an example from Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre, he discusses about existentialism. He says that your mother is ill, and at the same time you have to look after your mother. At the same time, you find that some other country, they attack on your country. So now you are between two extremes, either to serve your mother or you fight with the soldier. They are fighting for motherland. So what will you decide? You have to decide yourself. Same way, existentialism, nihilism approach to meaning. The nihilism or nihilist philosophers say that there is no meaning at all. They do not reach unto meaning. There is no meaning in life. There is no purpose in this world, in this life. So they reach the conclusion there is no purpose, there is no meaning in the life. So talk about absurdism. Absurdism also developed along with nihilism and existentialism. So if we find its origin, we find its origin in the work of Kierkegaard, one of the Danish philosopher. Danish philosopher in 1849. Danish philosopher, he writes sickness unto death. In sickness unto death 1849, he writes about the absurdism. And further, if we talk about Albert Camus, he was a novelist and philosopher. He was a novelist and a playwright. He also writes about absurdism. He is known as the father of absurdism. So talk about his philosophy. He said that there are three purposes. There are three things we can derive out of this life. So how he said that the first thing you need to accept this world is meaningless, you should commit suicide. And further he expounds that if you don't find meaning in it, you try to find meaning. And further they both come to the conclusion that we should find some higher thing, some supernatural thing, and we should accept it. We should accept as a deity, accept as a god, as a healer, sustainer, and we should find any supernatural power and we should start following it, whether it's a god or apostle or a kind of spiritual being. So they come to conclusion whether we should find this life meaningless, there is no purpose at all, and we should commit suicide, everything will be solved. Second option, find some higher power, supernatural powers, find it, and you should start following it. This is not a good philosophy according to them, that this is just a bad kind of philosophy, because you start following somebody, you will be yourself meaningless. You will not finding the meaning. Since philosophy is a pursuit of wisdom, it's a love of wisdom, love for wisdom, pursuit of wisdom, and pursuit of gaining knowledge, learning something, gaining something, finding truth. So if you accept somebody, you blindly following, whether it's a supernatural power or it's any higher power, kind of divinity or anything else, then you will kill philosophy. Further, they explain that you, while pursuing it, the meaning, you will find the meaning. You try to pursue something, especially in absurdism, there are three stages. They have given three stages, both together. Kierkegaard and Albert Camus. They both have given three stages. One stage is you should commit suicide. Everything will be solved, as we find in Waiting for Godot. Waiting for the Godot, we find that there are two people. They are waiting for somebody. He's not gonna come, and after that they try to kill each other. So once they try to kill, they say there will be no meanings at all. Still we couldn't find meaning. Still we are bored. If I commit suicide, you will be getting bored. So over there they decide that they are not going to commit suicide, rather they will be waiting for the Godot, and Godot will come and everything will be solved, their problem will be solved. Over here we see that there are three stages. One stage, you commit suicide, your problem will be solved. Since there is no meaning at all, you didn't find any meaning in this word is a meaningless, so you commit suicide, everything will be solved. So this approach goes toward committing suicide, which is not best according to the absurdist philosopher. Secondly, they try to accept a higher power like God, like messenger, like a saint, someone, and you find it, you blindly start following, and after that you find meaning. You will be ultimately find meaning. So this approach is not good according to the absurdist philosophers. Still they are finding someone, they are approaching someone, somebody is leading them, and they are blind follower. This is not pursuit of knowledge or pursuit of wisdom. So they absurdist or absurd philosopher or philosophy reject it. They reject this. And the third philosophy is third approach is that they should find meaning, like existentialist, since it's in the mid of nihilism and existentialism. So in the third way it recommends you should, while pursuing something, while finding something, since there is no meaning, when you find meaning, your problem will be solved. So third approach, some philosopher they recommend third approach, where they should try to find meaning, and ultimately they will be finding meaning. Since we are here in this world and we are totally bewildered and confused to find our own meaning, so here you have to do yourself. If you find meaning, if you do something, for example, you want to eat bread, so when you eat bread, you need to collect flour, you need to bake it, you need to cook it. After that, after cooking it, you will do its all process, and ultimately that morsel that will be in the form of loaf, that will be loaf of bread, and it will go to your mouth. And you have to, since you have to take effort in a way to find proper cooked food. So for cooking food, for getting meal, for doing something, you need certain process. Same way, you have to make research. So you have to find something after great labor. You are bewildered and confused in this world, and while doing effort, personal endeavor, you have to find meaning. This is the third approach of the absurd philosophy. This philosophy is backed by various philosophers, and it has an origin in 19th century. Kierkegaard, Danish philosophers, and further it moves towards Albert Camus. Albert Camus has written one of book, The Myth of Sisyphus. In Myth of Sisyphus, there is a person. This myth has been taken from the Greek literatures. So in Greek literature, we find that there is a Sisyphus, a kind of myth, and there is a person who is having just like a rock, and he is pushing this rock towards mountains. What happens as he reaches the mountains, once again come to the bottoms, and he's repeating this process again and again. It's the same way Albert Camus say that here in this world we are finding meaning, we are bewildered, confused over here, since there is no meaning, and we're just trying to find it, but no meaning at all. We can have Three approaches, like just accept there is no meaning at all, commit suicide. There is meaning, find. Just do all these steps and ultimately come to the conclusion. And then third, we have approach, we should accept some higher authority and just follow it, blindly follow it, which is not acceptable for philosophers, especially absurdist philosophers. Stay blessed and have a nice time. Hope you have learned it. If you want certain questions, you want to do questions, just write in the comment and I will be answering you. Stay blessed and have a nice time.